Hello and welcome to True Guidance Tarot. I'm Adriana Teodoro-Dier. I'm a spiritual medium and intuitive card reader. I am so excited to share this message for the fire signs with you. This is for Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. So we'll do kind of the general message and then I'll break off into the individual messages for each sign. I'd also like to say that I love doing these videos absolutely for you, and if you would like to support this channel by either liking or subscribing or commenting, that'd be great. If you prefer to do something a little more tangible with a donation, that's fine too. There's a link in my description below. But the important thing is that you're here now, and we're going to talk about this because this is a big week for you. We have the Magician for the energy around you. Now, this is the opportunity to manifest. Now, what does manifest mean? You have an idea, you have an emotional attachment to this idea, like, yeah, this would be something I would like, this is something I love, this is the direction I need to go. And this is the opportunity to put that plan into action, to take an idea and make it happen into your reality. Now, a lot of you are not grabbing the bull by the horns. You're standing on the ground worrying your head off. We've got the Nine of Swords here. Now, what this means is an unwillingness to fly, an unwillingness to use your power, and an unwillingness to step up and do what your soul is urging you to do. This idea is coming into your head for a reason. This urge, this emotional attachment you feel to this idea is there for a reason. This is your soul talking to you saying, this is what we need to do. This is the direction we need to go. And predictably, your ego is getting involved, being like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't have enough. I can't fly. I can't make this happen. And I understand why this is happening. It's a bit of you feel like you're kind of in this strange crisis. You might call it an identity crisis, but it's more like the powerful identity crisis. Let me see if I can put this into English. If you see yourself as power, it's that's having the identity crisis. Let me see if I can explain this. So 10 of Pentacles into the Tower, into the Queen of Wands. So you have built up a certain image of yourself, a certain position for yourself that you feel very proud of and very comfortable with. And that's fine. That's very good. But I kind of feel like this is like an egg. I've been reading a lot about eggs this week, but this is what it feels like to me. It's like an egg that's closed. And I'm not talking about like a pretty Easter egg or one of those Russian eggs that's very painted. This is just a plain egg that's closed. We can't see what's inside. And it's not breaking open and shattering and spilling what's inside everywhere. It's staying closed. It's staying contained because it's safe. You're like, I've worked so hard to get to this position. I've worked so hard on myself to get to this place. I've worked so hard to get my finances, to get my world around me to the way I want it to be. And then this Tower comes along saying, wait a minute, there's more. The point of having all this is not to hold it forever. You can't do that. We've got this lightning bolt hitting the Tower and it's breaking apart. And that's what you're fearing. You're fearing like, if I move on to the next step, I lose everything that I've built up. I lose everything that I've worked so hard for. It's like, I don't know I can't remember what book this is from, but where you have a dream and then you're asked to let it go in order to receive it. And you're like, why would I let it go? This is my precious dream. So this is my precious self. This is my precious power that I've learned how to contain. But what they're saying is if you allow yourself to break open and share this energy outwards, you're not losing anything. In fact, you're going up. You're going up in stature, you're going up in power, you're going up in everything. Confidence, leadership, magnetism. This card has been coming up a lot for certain fire signs, the Queen of Wands, and we really need to pay attention to that. She is using her power, she is using her talents, she is using your gifts. So this might be, and maybe this metaphor just makes sense for me, but this is like when you're studying and you're learning and you think, well, I need to learn a little bit more. I need to learn a little bit more. I'm not quite ready to show it. I'm not quite ready to do this. I'm not quite ready, not quite ready. And this Tower is saying, you've got to stop that. You are ready. It is time to shine. It is time to get that energy out. It is time to step forward. Because if you notice, on this card, there's no one except for her and a dragon. And so she's twined around the dragon, almost like they're one. And in this one, she's social. So she's herself, and there's all these other animals that are around her, birds and foxes and more birds, lots of birds. So she's sharing and she's benefiting nature. She's benefiting her environment. She's elevating them by what she knows and who she is and her willingness to share her energy with them. And that's what you're being asked to do. You don't need to just hold it for yourself. That's really not what power is. Power can't be powerful unless you're using it. Does that make it? I hope that makes sense to you. I know you can't answer me. You can't answer me. I'm asking you as if that makes sense to you. I was laughing at myself here. But the idea is that power isn't power unless it's in action, unless it's in motion. And that's what you do best. And that is why this is not necessary. This isn't you. To worry and stop your motion and not move, that is not fire sign energy. So keep that in mind. The time is right. You've got everything, but now is about doing, putting it out there, going, getting it done. And we are doing Aries first. They just told me. So 5 cards, or is it 3? Do you want 5 or 3? Somebody wants 5. Okay. Oh, I see. It's top 3, bottom 2. Oh boy. Alrighty then. Okay, coming at you with the feminine here. So we've got the moon. We've got the moon here. We've got the 7 of Wands. We've got the Queen of Cups. We have the 10 of Wands, and then we have the High Priestess. Now everyone is trying to get towards the High Priestess, I believe. Is that what's happening? The moon. Okay. All right. So Aries, this is really a serious call to action for you. And it's coming through the feminine energy, so I will try to be gentle. But you have got to put a, they're saying a dam. You've got to put a barrier between things that are real and things that are not. You've got to put a barrier between your intuitions and your doubts. Between things that are truly your gut feeling and things that are your mind worrying that things aren't quite right. So that's just this little piece here. The Queen of Cups represents your intuition, your feeling sense. And on the other side, we have the moon, which the moon can be an intuitive card as well. But because of what else is going on here, we're not talking about the side of the card. We're talking about the side that talks about delusion and the side that talks about making things up, like things aren't quite real. And it's all in your mind, again, all in your mind. And if you notice, these are going off in different directions. So we have a little bit of a standoff here, and your mind and your intuitions are going in opposite directions, which says to me that you're getting both. You're getting both the impulse to act and the knowingness of what to do, but you're also getting a lot of garbage from your mind. You're getting a lot of stuff that's not real, a lot of concerns that aren't real, a lot of small stuff that you shouldn't be sweating, but they're pretty equally balanced, which is a little bit worrying to me, because that means that you're not really seeing that clearly. But the advice is to separate this out. Now let's deal with the rest of this, because we've got, what we're trying to do is to get to this High Priestess, which is the ultimate high intuition. This is the true sense where it's a lot more powerful. It's a lot more unwavering than even she is. She's more of the poetic, creative energy that takes that divine energy and makes it into something on the earth. This is a pure channel for that divine energy. Now, this fight that you're having between your intuition and your delusion, it is wearing you out. So that's why we've got the 10 of Wands here, blocking you from getting to that clarity. And what's so fascinating to me is that in the tarot, the Magician is number 1, and the next card we encounter is number 2, the High Priestess. So we're trying to get you to the next level. But this fight between your intuition and your delusion is just not serving you. And like I said, it's wearing you out, and that's part of the reason for that heightened anxiety, that 9 of Swords we had before, because you're just not sure what to do, and you're kind of frozen. So what advice? Because I mean, that's what's going on, and the awareness might be enough to shoot you forward, but let me see if any advice is going to come up for you. Okay, they're saying limit distractions. The overstimulus, okay, so what's happening is you've got some intuition, you've got some delusion, you don't know what to do. Instead of sitting quietly and figuring out which is which, you overstimulate yourself. You find a distraction, you run after this, you run after that, and you're not getting anything done fully, correctly, or with the amount of presence of mind that you need to have. So they're saying limit your distractions. So for some of you, that's the TV, the cell phone, electronics, because of the fire. So take some quiet time, and when you feel yourself being pulled to that, oh, I've got to do this, I have to do this now, step back for a second and just take a breath and see if you can talk to your gut and say, is that really what I need to be doing now, or am I distracting myself? So I hope the awareness gives you a place to jump off of, because this is going to be a tough pattern. You're really, I feel for you, you're dealing with some big stuff here. So, but there is a way through. There's a way through, because she's at the end of this. And when you get that power consolidated, everything is going to become much more clear. Okay. All right. Moving on. Are we going to Leo or Sagittarius? Sagittarius and top 3. Nope, keep shuffling. Okay. All right, so this is a softer message for you all. We've got the Five of Cups here, 8 of Wands going into the 4 of Swords. So this is talking about putting plans into action, but in your mind. Right, that made sense. So instead of looking in, this is not really the time for introspection in the way of getting caught in your emotions and your sadness and your regrets, but rather they're wanting you to look forward in thinking about how you want the rest of your life. I just thought of the word infinity connected with an 8, and you know, an 8 on its side is the infinity symbol. So they're talking about not reacting from past sadness and past regret and past hurts and past what you wish you had, but they're saying, okay, forget all about that, but think to the future. And how would you really like infinity to look for you? How would you like the rest of your future to look for you? So this is about visualizing. This is about taking time to meditate on this. This is about taking time to be patient with forming these ideas, because this is a long, big idea. I really love this card. There's a little tiny seed fairy that's incubating down here. And this is also the idea of incubation. So what happens during incubation? I'm in that egg thing again. In incubation, a chick is growing from just a little yolk and white to an actual bird. And a bird then takes flight. And that's what we're doing here. This is taking flight. So week is about growth, but it's about internal growth and nurturing those ideas, nurturing that plan that you're going to feel so good about when it's formed. So this is not like, oh yeah, I want this, I want this, I want this. It's not that kind of energy. This is a longer energy, and they're asking you to patiently create your future. Because again, we're talking about infinity. This is not your future for next week. We're talking about the next year, the next 5 years, the next 20 years. So you really want to take your time and put things together. And this 4 of Swords, they're saying the pillars of foundation. Usually I don't see the 4 of Swords as a foundation card. That's more of the 4 of Pentacles for me, or even the 4 of Wands. But they're talking about foundation. So what are the mental foundation? What are the mental tenets that you would like to build your life on? So we're not talking about practical things like, oh, I'd like to be living here and doing this and this and this. It's what are those 4 ideals you'd like to be seeing in your world? Really distilling that down. What are those 4 ideals I want to see in my world for infinity, that would sustain me for infinity? And take time to think about it. You might change your mind, and that's okay, but get those really firmly planted in the ground, because we're going to start moving forward, I think, in the next, they're saying the next couple months. So, but it's still slow right now. So there's a slowness before that shoots forward. And that's where we are. So please don't try to push things faster than they have to go. Think about those 4 things, the 4 things that will sustain you for the infinity, for the rest of your life. Okay, that was a nice reading. And now Leo. Okay. Oh boy, Leo. Back and forth, back and forth. We've got the Knight of Cups, we've got the Queen of Swords, we've got the Page of Cups, and we've got the Five of Swords. So you are battling your thoughts and your emotions on 2 levels here. We've got a major battle going on here, and we've got a minor battle going on here. So let me just sit with this for a second. Okay, I'll show it to you too, just so I make sure. Okay, they're saying just to start talking, so that's what I'm going to do. You have an ideal that you're searching after, and it's, for most of you, a poetic, romantic idea. So it may be literally the arts, but it may be also just a romantic ideal that you have. And you have the Queen of Swords. Actually, I'm sorry, they were this way. You have the Queen of Swords attacking that. Now, the Queen of Swords is clarity of thought, but she's also critical energy. And so she's saying, can you think a bit more critically about this plan? He's an idealist and a dreamer, and she's saying, really? Really, is that the truth? But it's not so much that she's shooting him down. She's just asking him to come up to the next level. She's asking him to put a little bit more awareness, realism, and they're saying the word momentum into the plan. So that means that a lot of you that have this romantic ideal are just like, you're holding it, you're just cradling it. You're not actually moving it. She's trying to shoot you forward. She's shooting an arrow. So that's a little strange to me, because the Knight of Cups is usually motion, moving forward, but they're saying that's not what's happening. She's actually asking you to move it forward more. So it may seem like you're getting criticized, but you're not actually getting criticized. She's trying to help you gain momentum so that you can get closer to that ideal, get closer to your goal, get closer to making this thing happen. So for some of you, this may be your own thoughts, but for some of you, this may be an external female figure who tends to appear masculine. She's a strong, independent kind of woman. Now, on the smaller side, we've got the Five of Swords, and we've got the Page of Cups. And this is, again, that theme of you're not taking enough action. You're getting a little bit too lost in the sentimentality of your idea and your attachment to it. And it's almost like you're afraid if you put it into motion, you lose some of the idealism. It's almost like the idea gets tainted, and you're afraid that you'll lose that connection to your ideal. And so you're pushing away from it. And again, it's at a standstill. You're not moving yourself forward. So this is about using your thoughts to really figure out how you can get yourself moving emotionally. How can you get yourself into action? And remember, you're a fire sign. Leo is fire. What happens when you blow air on fire? It gets bigger. What happens when you pour water on fire? It goes out. So wallowing and staying in your emotions is not going to help you this week. Trying to get a clear thought and being unafraid to think clearly and being unafraid to get this thing into motion is going to serve you much better than staying with your emotions and getting so attached to your idea. This is really about getting into motion. It's not about the purity of your idea as much as it is the motion. Okay? So I hope that helps. That's a little push, a little kick in the pants. And thank you again so much for joining me. I love to see you every week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one.